There are going to be, under this agreement, two collective bargaining units, one that deals with the HPA and one that deals with the HPP. In other words, the HPP employees would be unionized?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay.
We will unionize all the HPP employees.
And can you talk a little more about the staffing agreement and how that's going to work? The HPA employees are going to be reporting to HPP managers, is that right? Can you kind of talk about the chain of, I guess, command, if you will?
It's more, I don't think it's a reporting issue. They report to the HPA. It is a employee leasing agreement. And so the HPA will effectively lease their employees to the HPP, as many companies do in these types of situations. Pretty standard fare.
But I guess what I'm wondering is, who tells those employees what they're going to do today when they go into work? Who's the boss?
HPP will manage the parking system. HPA employees will direct specifically their employees, but pursuant to a employee staffing agreement. So the answer really is both, and they have to work together.
And can I ask another question about that, if I could? I don't have the paperwork with me, but my understanding of Article 29 was that it effectively gave the existing union, which is still going to stay in place under this deal, veto power. Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that Article 29 prohibits the HPA from leasing the garages over to a private operator without the approval of that collective bargaining unit, which remains in place under this agreement. So,
yeah, that's not correct, David. So and again, I don't have documents in front of me, but my understanding, and I think I have a pretty good understanding of it, is that the Article 29 provides that the union will not enter into a concession and lease agreement unless it has done the following things. One, met and discussed the issue with the union, and two, maintained the union employees within the HPA complement. And so the HPA now has the opportunity of meeting all of those areas as negotiated by the union membership in the collective bargaining agreement.
And final question.
Oh wait, that last one was the final question. Okay, this one's fine.
City Council, you praised three of the members in particular for making this happen. Last week you sent them an email saying that they might end up killing the deal if they don't reach a decision more quickly. So I wonder if you can assess the role City Council is playing here.
Yeah, sure, I'd be happy to. City Council, firstly, I don't think that's a fair paraphrase of my email. I think my email was one of asking respectfully City Council to recognize that this is a time-constrained transaction. As we all know, the credit markets are in crisis. Lehman Brothers failed today. AIG stock went down 51% today. We're in the worst financial and banking crisis this country has ever seen. And so the ability to get a deal like this done is remarkable, and it's a deal that won't last for a very long time, and it's time sensitive. And so my request of City Council was to move the process forward as quickly as possible. They had an RFP out for an independent third-party firm that could assist in the analysis of the transaction, and they were planning to meet to decide if either of those firms that responded would qualify. My request to them was very simply, just move this along quickly. So I don't think that there was any more to that. What are they doing? I can assess it as I think they're doing what a good City Council does. They are being deliberative. They are taking the time and effort and energy to move this forward. There may be one person on City Council who is looking for reasons not to do this transaction. It baffles me why, because it's such a good economic transaction, and it seems to me that trying to take an action politically because that person may not like anything that the mayor may be involved in, but ignores the benefits to the city and its citizenry, is something that I don't understand. But I'm not a politician, I'm a businessman. But the reality is that City Council, other than when they have their hidden agenda, like this one person that I'm thinking of, I think the rest of council is very diligent in what they're doing. They're looking at the facts, they're looking at the deal, they're looking to find the person that can assess it with them and help them. And then I think that they've been waiting for the union to come on board, and now that the union has done so, it's now in their bailiwick to decide what they should do and whether this deal is something that meets the needs and the requirements of City Council for the city and its residents. And of course, you know, we believe that it does. We have, for months now, put out everything about this transaction transparently, and no one has come up and said there's something wrong with this deal. No one has come out and said there's something economically bad about this deal. The only complaints that people have had is, how are you going to ensure the union members that they can live under the agreement they had, Article 29? And so although our initial look at this was to try to find a way to bring the union in without Article 29, based on the good work of the council leadership, we were persuaded to, and when I say council, I mean District 90 council, we were persuaded that we can live within that arrangement and still provide all the benefits, and now have removed any obstacle that any constituency may have to this deal. So we believe that this now gives us an opportunity to move forward, and it's really a win-win all around.
And when do you need that vote to happen by City Council? There's been a lot of things bandied about.
There are. Right now, we have asked City Council to be prepared to close this transaction by October 15th. We would still like City Council to be able to close this transaction by October 15th. Whether or not we have the ability of keeping our lender available beyond that is something that I don't know. I do know that our lender is there through October 15th. I do know that the credit markets are difficult, actually a lot worse than difficult. And so I would hate to see this deal fall apart because they needed an extra 2 weeks that could have been crunched in. As I understand that the RFP responses are in, as I understand that there are firms that have responded and are ready, willing, and able to move forward with the process. I believe that City Council meets tomorrow night in order to determine if any of these firms meet the qualifications necessary. We believe that they should be able to find one of these firms to be able to do that, and we hope that if they do, they can move this forward without further delay.
Mayor, sorry, I guess I was still wondering if you had a chance to talk to the membership and get a feel for what their take is on this.
I've only talked to one person, so no, we're planning a meeting this week, hopefully at the latest next week, to meet with the membership to explain everything with regard to our agreement.
Have they been informed about the agreement?
Yes. Our leadership is informed.
And in terms of the union decision-making process, who had to okay this? Was it essentially you?
District Council 90. We're the exclusive bargaining agent, yes.
And that's literally a council of a couple of people, or who is District Council 90?
District Council 90 is the locals that are involved here in Dauphin County. There are about 22 locals that comprise District Council 90, and then we have staff that works for District Council 90. We're under the umbrella group of ASME Council 13.
Mary, is it okay to have a copy?
Sure.
So if you'd like, we have copies of the agreement that you can pick up. I'll leave it on this table. And if there's no more questions, we thank you very much for coming and appreciate your time. Thank you again.
Thank you.